Hello, folks. This is Jim here, and I was going to make I was going to post a picture to Patreon that was sort of a side by side of all of the in-process steps that it took to create all the layers for this dramatically lit UTC page. But then I realized that's a lot of pictures to put through, and it just felt like a video would be a lot faster and easier, and I could explain a bit more. So if you're interested in behind the scenes nitty gritty Photoshop stuff, then this video is for you. So this is the final page as it appears on the website. Of course, without the word balloons, those are added in Illustrator. But this is the Photoshop file with all the color layers. And I really wanted this scene to have a real punch to it. This is the climax of a very long arc, and it really just felt like I needed to step up my coloring. So that's what I've done. So we've got this, the ray gun is basically the primary lighting source in the entire cafeteria right now. All the lights are dimmed, so it's casting this really bright yellowish light. If you really hate yellow, I'm sorry, but that's the color we're going to be going with for the next few pages. So this is what it looks like at the very end, but I'll show you what it looks like at the beginning. So here's the line art layer. I do my inking in Manga Studio because I like the way that it uses its pen tool. Photoshop has a bit more of a jagged edge to the lines, which you can see here really close up, but I like how smooth it is. So I import these. This is the imported ink file from Manga Studio. Now the first thing I always do, I create a layer with all the foreground characters. Ken's not appearing in color here because I colored his separately for dramatic reasons. He's only like 2 tones, so but all the regular foreground characters are colored like normal, and this is basically where I would stop. Oh wait, Noah gets his shine because he's all glossy, but this is normally where I would stop coloring the characters on a regular page. But I'm adding all this extra lighting, so I'm moving on to the next step. The next step is because under normal lighting conditions, these guys are lit like this, but because all the lights in the cafeteria went down, I created a separate layer. I filled everybody in with one single color, and my original plan was to sort of dim them based on that. But what I did instead was I took this color and I instead made a new layer to darken them, and I created this. So you see these nice cast shadows on them. The entire layer is actually like this. I colored the entire thing, and I then applied. Well, actually, that's not what I did. So I did this first, just to have something behind it. But then I added the yellow highlight. So this is where the yellow is coming from, on top of the characters. And this is the layer on its own. It's just this yellow, and I did this one through this. I created this layer, which is basically, it's called flats. When you're coloring, this is flat color with all the areas that I wanted to make yellow. I copied that layer and I created this layer. Looked just like this, and then I fudged the yellow to get it to where I wanted it. That's it at full opacity. I dimmed it to 70, but this is trying to I'm basically trying to backtrack my steps at the same time as showing you how I did it step by step. But here it is. So now they're all yellow, but I don't want them all yellow. I want the cast lighting. So I'm playing with 3 different layers here. So I made this, and then I created a layer mask to hide all the yellow that's not being directly cast on them, so they're normal colored behind, but because it's also dark in the room, there's no other color coming from behind the characters. So I made the dim layer, but then I realized, you know what, the yellow is really intense. It is just so intense, it just flushes away all of the detail, and it still seemed a bit flat because of that. So that's when I realized, okay, I'm going to take the highlight layer, I'm going to reduce the opacity to 70%. That's just the number I did some, trial and error and stuff. I could have done a lot lighter, I could have done a lot brighter, but 70 is sort of where I felt the nice thing was. You can just see detail in the characters that do have detail anyway. Noah's spots are appearing, and Cass's hair highlight changes, and stuff like that. So that's where I was at. But also, because I had the foreground layer all dark like that, and I reduced the opacity on this, now some of that darkness in the front was going. So then I basically took the mask that was applied to this layer, and I copied it and inverted it. Bam, just like that. They were like this. Now this. So now all the scenes that are highlighted get that yellow applied, and the scenes that, or the surfaces that get the yellow highlight don't get shaded. And the surfaces that do get shaded don't get the yellow highlight. It's like a total inversion. And then from there I did extra stuff. I added the cast shadows to the backs of these guys, and the other panels where this doesn't apply, I created separate lines for that, so that I could just do those separately. And Ken was a special case. Oh yeah, the whites of their eyes, they weren't popping, so I basically went in and I just painted all of them white again. I think you see it makes a real difference in that. And then Ken is gets his own unique shading. Oh yeah, so the people shading layer goes away because that was just a... Yeah, that was the original gray layer I had. So there's that, and then I just keep plunking in the backgrounds. I have different effect layers for this. I've got this sort of marking the perimeter. Then here's the wave with a special yellow glow filter on it to make it look really sparkly. Also potentially dangerous. And then the yelling, screaming. And that is how the page comes together. I hope that made sense. It's really tough juggling between all these layers, but that's kind of it. And I'm going to have to replicate this for the next 3 or 4 pages. However long it takes for them to shut that machine off. And hopefully save Ken. But there you go. There's your exclusive behind-the-scenes Patreon Photoshop tech demo. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see more of these in the future, because I can do more of these if people are interested. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you in October.